Welcome back to AM Northwest. The Hood River Crag Rats are America's oldest all-volunteer mountain rescue team. And our next guest has been volunteering with them for decades. His new book shares the team's fascinating history. We welcome the author of Crisis on the Mountain, Stories from 100 Years of Mountain Rescue, Dr. Christopher Van Tilburg. Good to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
You first climbed Mount Hood in, what, 1994?
Yes,
Is that
1994
right?
with my brother.
With your brother. You're an ER doctor. Tell me more about yourself.
Well, I started volunteering with the Crag Rats in about 25 years ago, right after I got out of residency, medical training. And so I just blended it into my life. I work part-time in medicine and sometimes full-time with the Crag Rats.
And what is it? What is it about Crag Rats? What is the mentality? What are the people who volunteer? What are they like? Like, what does it take to be one?
Well, we have people who want to be Crag Rats are basically alpinists. So those people who are comfortable moving in the mountain terrain, skiing uphill, walking with crampons, climbing. But we also have this secondary characteristic of people who are just passionate about the outdoors and passionate about helping people. About helping people.
But it takes a lot of bravery too to do what you do and to what they do.
I think so. I think we are very calculated and safe, and we spend a lot of time focusing on techniques and a lot of time focusing on safety, and so we are very careful.
Describe an incident. Let's say you get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning. What happens from there?
Well, first of all, we all have to wake up and get out of bed.
Right.
And most of us, because we do this so often, we can have our gear assembled and dressed and ready in about 10 or 15 minutes.
Like a firefighter.
Somewhat like that, but we're volunteered and we're at home.
You're at home,
and then we have to get up the mountain, drive up the mountain. Might be stormy weather, might be clear weather.
Right.
And then we have to figure out a plan. So things don't happen instantly oftentimes because we have to find out who's in trouble, what kind of injuries they have, and how we're going to get to them.
Right. I'm curious, so give me an example of a story of when you and your team helped to save someone, and what was the reason they were up there and what had happened?
Well, a very common problem is somebody who's climbing Mount Hood on the south side.
Okay.
We think Mount Hood is probably the most climbed glaciated peak in the world.
Oh, wow.
And
that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, it's very busy.
Right.
And if somebody falls on the south side and gets injured, that's a common, we've already had a couple missions this year already for that. And so getting up to 10,000 feet on the mountain takes a while. If we have to ski up, we might grab a snowcat from Timberline Lodge. We might jump on the chairlift. But either way, we have to get up the mountain and then assess somebody. And then it's really difficult taking care of a patient at 10,000 feet. We have to render medical care, decide if we're going to ski them off the mountain or call a helicopter. And it's just, there's a lot of things happening at once. We also have to be careful of our own safety.
Right. When it comes to the history of the Crag Rats, what stands out to you as the most interesting? Because I know there are traditions, right, with them.
One of the most interesting is this itchy wool shirt I'm wearing. Because these shirts.
But you stand out. We can see you coming.
Yeah. These shirts were adopted by the Crag Rats we were formed in 1926. The shirts were adopted in 1928.
Here's a picture of the group wearing the shirts.
Right, and we bought these at Montgomery Ward's in Portland.
Oh, wow.
For $2.35 or something.
Yeah.
And so these itchy wool shirts stand out, I think, among a tradition that is very important to our culture. Like when you have a bunch of people from all different professions and family structures come together to do some kind of intense, life-saving mission, the cultures that we have are very important, which took me a while to realize. But this is kind of symbolic of our deep-seated cultures.
Okay, tell me a little bit more about the cultures.
Well, for example, we don't have a president. We have a big squeak. We don't have a secretary, we have a pipsqueak. So some of the cultures some of the things that we do are kind of humorous. Some of the things we had to change. Like it wasn't until 1990 that we let women join.
Oh, wow.
And we have some rescue mountaineers that are women that are just unparalleled.
Yeah.
Some of the best in the nation.
In one part of your book, I don't know what who you're saving at this point, but one of the guys says, "Oh, I'm so hungry, I'm starving," and the only female on the crew says, "Here's a granola bar for you," and then everyone says, you never eat breakfast. And it was the only woman who's had, and I thought, that's a typical woman. You need a granola bar, here you go. I got it in my backpack or whatever. She's always prepared.
And that particular person has been almost to the summit of Mount Everest.
Oh, wow.
And turned around because of conditions, but yeah, just incredibly strong rescue mountaineer, but then is able to whip out a
granola for the guy who refuses to eat before he heads up the mountain,
right? Which
is very funny. Well, tell me about another like wacky personality that you have on the team, or interesting personality, I should say.
Well, we have an interesting personality, somebody I highlight in the book a lot, and that's my friend and colleague Brian Hukari, who joined the Crag Rats in 1972 as a third-generation crag rat. His father and his grandfather were crag rats, and he...
Is this him here? Or?
That's him on the picture on the screen.
Wow.
And over 50 years, he's participated, and he's always shows up, and he regularly shows up. And for 50 years of doing this, it's just incredible knowledge and expertise that and friendship that we all rely on.
You must have an incredible bond, because those are intense situations that you're in.
Yeah, I think these are my best friends.
Yeah, I bet. Does your family ever worry about you? I know you have 2 grown daughters.
I think so. I think my daughters...
I find this interesting because you don't seem to think they care.
Well, my daughters grew up with this.
Yeah, so it's no difference.
This is what Dad does.
Right.
And my mom used to worry, but my mom, who passed away 5 years ago, is one of the most incredibly positive people.
Right.
And she would just say, be careful, you let me know how it goes, kind of attitude. So I think we're so careful and calculated, and what seems like it's a scary event to somebody who's not familiar with the mountain is something we do so often. Like, we're on Mount Hood on the south side 30, 40 times a year.
Right.
And we know the terrain, and we know where the holes are, the fumaroles and the crevasses, and it's just familiarity makes it somewhat safe for us.
What's the biggest mistake people make when they hike Mount Hood? Ski Mount Hood.
I think the biggest mistake people make is going unprepared with either the skill set or the equipment that was required.
Yeah. And you've not only rescued people on Mount Hood and in the ER, but when you're on vacation, you end up rescuing people.
Yeah, I think it's just...
you must be wearing some kind of light on you that says, I'm the one that's here to help.
Well, I think it's just that I hear and see of situations and I respond because it's just second nature, whereas maybe somebody who doesn't do this all the time just might not think, oh, I need to walk over there and see if I can help.
Right.
Or, oh, I hear the airplane flight attendants say, we need help.
Right.
It's just, I think it's just second nature to me.
Wow. You have a book event May the 15th at Roundabout Books in Bend. We're going to put all the information for everyone on our website at k2.com. The book again is titled Crisis on Mount Hood, Stories from 100 Years of Mountain Rescue. Christopher, Doctor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for the work you do.
Thanks.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.